Marvete, o ano tá acabando e o Legado recebeu um presente muito especial da Disney, que foi a oportunidade de entrevistar Bryan Andrews, que é produtor executivo e diretor de episódios de What If, que está chegando para a sua segunda temporada no Disney Plus a partir do dia 22, né? Vai ser um episódio por dia, vai ser um negócio bem especial para encerrar 2023, e a gente teve essa honra de entrevistá-lo, e eu estou vindo aqui de outro ponto do tempo para apresentar a entrevista, não só por ela ser uma coisa muito especial, né? O bate-papo foi muito maneiro, já adianto aqui, mas porque ela foi num formato inédito para mim, porque a entrevista só foi liberada em áudio. Eu tava vendo o Bryan e ele me vendo também, né? Então eu vou deixar uma foto dele aqui para você ter uma ideia de como ele é, mas a gente só foi liberado o áudio da entrevista. Então, como a gente não queria privar vocês de ter essa experiência, que o papo foi muito maneiro, então a gente montou essa dinâmica diferente aqui, onde eu me gravei, né, durante toda a conversa, não a câmera do cara, porque vamos respeitar a privacidade, né? Mas então, e não é ego meu, tá? Não é narcisismo, me filmei por ordens superiores, mas só pra você entender a dinâmica que vocês vão estar me vendo. Depois, na hora do Bryan, a gente vai botar alguma coisa por cima aí pra poder ilustrar. O importante é o que ele vai falar, então vocês vão ouvir e ler a tradução, que é o mais importante, né? Então, muito obrigado à Disney pela oportunidade, ao Andrew por ser um cara tão maneiro, por ter feito uma coisa tão maneira que nem essa temporada de What If, a primeira também, né? Então, sem mais delongas, Feliz Natal se você está vendo no Natal, Feliz Ano Novo se você está vendo no Ano Novo, obrigado por acompanhar o Legado, seja no Legado TV ou outra gente, em 2023, nos vemos em 2024 para mais novidades, tem coisa vindo aí, né, 2024, mas agora é o What If, é Natal, e vamos para a entrevista com o Bryan Andrews, bora! First of all, congratulations. The first season, I gotta say, MCU has a lot of great shows, but What If for me is really the most solid season. And I'm really looking forward to season 2. And I think that this new format of daily episodes really fits What If. So it's a really curiosity that I have. At what moment during the process that idea of release came? Was it earlier or it came later on?
I think it came later on. It's like once we have the episodes done and they start thinking about release dates and all that kind of stuff, they really toyed around a while with how best to do it. And then there was an individual, like on the either programming or market, I forget where they were, but they just went, hey, what if we did this? And Brad Winderbaum, our main executive producer, and like head of streaming and all this, he was like, yeah, that sounds great, you know? So it's like, let's try that. It sounds fun. And it's great because it's during the holidays. A lot of people have time off, you know, they'll be with maybe gathering with families. It's like, hey, every day there's like a new episode. Let's gather around and let's everyone watch it. So I think it's cool. I mean, I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I hope it goes well. I hope people love it. I know people who like to do reaction videos were a little bit upset at first because they're like, oh my gosh, it's so much extra work. But they seem game to try. So I mean, I'm excited for that too.
That's the a great way to end the year with, for all the Marvel fans, every day a new thing.
Yeah.
And talking about that, I've been reading about this since 2021, so now it's the time to finish this doubt about the Tony Stark and Sakaar episode.
Yeah.
Why wasn't it released on season 1, and how it came along to be part of the second season?
So you know, the pandemic hit and it kind of shook up production a little bit, and unfortunately that just happened to be one of the episodes that just took a little bit of a hit with particular vendor and like the difficulty of the show, the pandemic and all the rest of it. So it couldn't quite make the slate for season 1 as it was supposed to. So but you know, we're still going to make it, and we're still in process of making it. So we're like, well, it'll come out season 2, I guess. Hooray, you know. So we just kept up the process, and you know, and it's finally here, and we're happy. So, you know, that's like people finally get to see it. You know, it turned out really well, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's on Sakaar. On the trailer, it's like you can hear it's Jeff Goldblum. You know, he came back as the Grand Master. He did an incredible job. He's so funny. Yeah, I can't wait for people to see it. It's gonna be exciting.
You could put Jeff Goldblum in every episode that it would fit, right?
Totally. We had a number of other Jeff Goldblum Grandmaster episodes to pitch, like on season 2, and unfortunately they didn't get chosen. But there are some real hilarious, great ones, and maybe one day we'll still get to do one of them because there's some pretty wild ones.
Can't wait to see. Talking about things that I really can't wait to see, one of my MCU most expected projects is Marvel Zombies. And recently, to make the face itch even more, Iman Vellani talked about Kamala Khan being in it. And I know that's a really spoilery zone, but is Kamala in it, or is there anything new you can tell us about it?
I can't tell you much new about it. Kudos for getting some inside scoops. All is that we're working on it, you know, concurrently, and we've been working on it even during finishing up some of this other stuff. So it's still full steam ahead. It's pretty awesome. I think we already announced it. It's more adult. So it's dangerous, it's frightening, there's still fun, there's still some humor, but there's also a lot of nasty stuff too, to a certain degree. So you know, hopefully people will go nuts for it when it finally comes out. But we're literally working on it like as we speak still. So it's coming.
Let's have a great holiday season before we have the zombie apocalypse, right?
Yeah. It's scheduled a bit later. They keep pushing these things out, so we might be done with it and we would have to sit on it for a little while. They've got their master plans of when they want something to come out. So I don't know exactly when, but so people will have to be patient, but I think it'll be worth the wait. It's pretty awesome.
That's the most important thing, right? On one thing that What If could have 10 seasons more, and we just would be impossible not to talk about Chadwick Boseman work on season 1. So I really like to ask you how you guys felt when he got the posthumous Emmy Award for his role as Star-Lord T'Challa. That's just perfect.
It was perfect. It was great. Yeah, I remember very clearly. It's like, you know, he won that, and I was so happy, and it brings a tear to the eye. Like, his wife came up to do the acceptance speech, and it just meant so much, to finally to be able to acknowledge him in some way one last time. Yeah, it was tragic, his passing. He's such a talent. He's so incredible. I do hope that in anime, I know it's difficult in live action, but in animation, maybe that's a way. I think it's a bummer that if T'Challa just never exists anymore, ever. I think with enough time and with the Boseman estate, if they feel it's time to be able to possibly bring Star-Lord T'Challa back, because we had plans he was going to have his own spin-off show and just have them go on their awesome adventures and just, taking down bad criminals and being, galactic Robin Hoods, and with a lot of flavor and a lot of funk and a lot of awesome. And I would have loved to have seen that and be a part of that. So maybe one day in the future that still might happen, but it's
we're blessed enough just to have that little bit of episode.
Right? I know.
Oh, just to talk about it.
Thank goodness. Yeah. And he was one of the first, if not the first, literally voices actors that signed on to do our stuff. He was literally he jumped right in and he was all about it. So we're so thankful for that. He did such a fantastic job. That
was beautiful to hear. Now putting you in a really unfair question, yeah. But MCU had a few Christmas stories, so I can ask you if what one of these is the definitive Christmas story on the MCU? Iron Man 3, Hawkeye, the Guardian of the Galaxy holiday special, or the Happy Hogan saving the Christmas episode?
Well, I think Happy Hogan saving. I'm biased, right? It's got to be Happy Hogan, just because Jon Favreau is incredible, and we have Kat Dennings back as Darcy. And it's a combination that you never knew you wanted until you see it, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like chocolate and peanut butter. It's amazing. They're just fantastic together. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just wacky. It's a Die Hard homage, and we love Die Hard, it's such a fantastic movie. And it is a Christmas movie, despite what some people might say. But this is our way to honor that a little bit and have some fun with these characters, and we do. So it's great.
I love it. I really love the Die Hard basis on this episode, and I love the Blade Runner vibes on the Nebula episode. Oh, yeah. I gotta say, Nebula is one of my favorite characters, and while I watched that episode, it only came to my mind, man, the animation is beautiful, but if you guys gotta make a Nova or something like that in the future in live action, you should copy that episode because it's great. So I kept thinking, now you have the special presentation format. Is there any idea of what if episode that you guys thought, maybe we could do this live action?
Oh, you know, it's funny. I don't know what Kevin thinks. I mean, I think all of them could be live action. I mean, for me, the way I was trained, there's really no difference. It's just visual storytelling. It's objects in a picture frame. And I've worked on live action, I've worked on animation, and I come at each one the same, you know. I want to see what I want to see, and it just doesn't, you know, this is how I want to see it, and it just doesn't matter. There's different tools that you use to get the animation out and get the live action out, but at the end of the day, it's still storytelling. So yeah, I think any of them could be really awesome in live action. But I also love animation, so I don't mind that it's animation as well. I don't want animation to be looked at as like a second class citizen or something, right? It's like, no. And I think some of the live action movies, they look at some of our stuff and they go, oh, dang, right? We got to up our game. You know what I mean? Especially when the fans chime in and point out, it's like, wow, this feels better than the movie, you know, some of these episodes. And that's really heartwarming when they say that stuff, because it's like, it means we're really getting to them, you know what I mean? We're really making something that people are loving, and that's great.
The imagination keeps sparkling, but really, that episode is perfect the way it is. So
Yeah.
to wrap it up, I gotta say, you have been at Marvel Studios for a long time, so it makes perfect sense that you got to work on What If. So how does it feel being a veteran in MCU and now working as director and executive producer?
It feels pretty great. I mean, I was flattered that I was always doing animation at the same time. I'd be doing all this work with Gendy Tartakovsky in animation while I was still boarding live action movies for Marvel. So I always had the relationships, you know, in both. And so when Brad finally called up and said, hey, we're going to actually do animation for the first time, we want you to, you know, head that up. You know, I was flattered. I mean, you know, they knew I came from that. They knew I had the ability to do that. So I was just glad they gave me the opportunity. In a way, it's like having an opportunity to show, hey guys, some of these stories, some of these things, you know, this is pretty cool. You know, you guys could do this too in the live action, right? Like just as an inspiration for the other creatives, you know, in the live action realm. Cool. You know, if they can look at our stuff and be inspired, that's awesome. You know, because I draw inspirations from everywhere, whether it's a, you know, painting or a movie, animated, live action, comic, you know, novel, doesn't matter. I draw inspiration from everywhere, so if people can be inspired by what we created, then hooray, that's fantastic.
Hooray is definitely the word to say about your work, man. Is really great. Not because I'm talking to you, because I really love it, and I can't wait to see the rest of this season 2. So congratulations once again. I hope you get all the love from the fans worldwide with it.
Well, thanks, man. Spread the word. You know, that's awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Definitely. Can't wait to watch with my nephews all these episodes every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be a really way to finish this 2023.
That's great. No, that's awesome. Thanks, man.